Hi, Eric. I wondered, who do you think has blocked particularly well, pass blocking wise on the line? Who stands out to you? And from a run blocking perspective, who has stood out to you in that area?
Well, I think in the big picture of it, Barry, that we all need to do a better job in that area. We've been good at times. We've had some success in pass pro. It was a little bit better last week than it's been. But singling out one, it's a group effort. Pass protection involves the offensive line, and it involves the backs, it involves the tight ends at times, it involves getting the ball out at times, it involves receivers running around. So we're all involved in it. And I think the better we're all combined into executing an individual play is going to tie into how much better we are run or pass in those things. I think the guys are working hard at it. It's important to them. They're continually trying to improve and do things, but it's an area that we're still working on too.
Omar?
We've seen sort of success last week in terms of running the ball. I don't know if it was the amount of attempts or just the opponent, but what do you think led to your second 100-yard rushing performances?
Yeah, Omar, I think, for me, we're always trying to run the ball efficiently and effectively. And I think, up front, they did a nice job against Atlanta. I think the tight ends did some good things there. I thought the backs ran well at times, but too inconsistent. I think we left some yards out there on the field. There was some more out there for us. And so we've got to go back and look at those things. We've got to, work on our angles on some of the things that we're doing up front. We've got to see things better in the running back room to be able, so that when there are run lanes, that we got to get in the right spots and put the ball there. And then the wide receivers got to block, and there's more out there for us in the run game. We're continually talking about it, working on it, pushing it, because we know that's an important component for our offense, and that helps everything out. When we can run the ball, it helps us. So we've got to be able to do that. Not just, you'd love to have some of these big plays and things run down the field, but the reality is we just need to stay on track and help the offense be efficient and move down the field. When we've done that, we've helped our offense in given series and be successful.
Hal?
I want to stay on the running game theme since I know you're partial to running backs.
I'm very partial to them. You might even say biased.
There you go. I won't tell the wide receivers you said that.
I'll tell them. Don't worry about it.
Against Atlanta, you were 29 for 132 on the ground. And actually, when I looked it up, those were more carries against Atlanta than you had the previous 2 weeks combined. And I'm wondering if there was a moment when you guys as a coaching staff sat down and just kind of rededicated yourself toward putting together a running attack.
Well, we put together the running attack with the intention of trying to run the ball every week. I mean, we know that's an important component to our offense. I mean, we want to do that. But again, as games change, as situations change in the game, if we don't run it as much because we're throwing it better or situations dictate that, then we may not run it as many times. Against Atlanta, we were running the ball better perhaps than we had, so we tried to get some more runs in there, and it was going. And I think the guys did a good job with some of the things that we were seeing out there. But every week we're trying to put a run game in. How we don't just go in and say, hey, this week no run game meetings because we're going to throw it the whole time. Because we're going to need that at some point in time. You never know how a game plays out. So we have multiple personnel groupings that we're working in. We have multiple plays and things that we're studying and working on, trying to make sure that we have a plan that gives us the best chance to run the ball every week.
And how does all of that work out now that you're down to 2 running backs with Malcolm out?
Well, I mean, it's the guys that are in there, that's a great opportunity for them. And so whoever that is, I think, Malcolm started out the other day, and we lost him after, I believe it was 9 plays. And then, Miles came in and Savon played more than he has, and he did a nice job when he was in there and had to be ready to go. And that's what this is. I mean, there's going to be an opportunity for somebody. You hate that it's injury related, but it's an opportunity for the next person.
Thanks.
Daniel?
I wanted to ask about something that you mentioned when talking about the run game and kind of being able to work yourself downfield. I mean, Tua has shown the ability to lead this offense on, 75 play touchdown drives, 80-yard touchdown drives. But do you think that some of the explosive plays in this offense is kind of missing? And do you think that it's required or kind of necessary for this offense, given sometimes the offense's inability to maintain drives back to back?
Well, again, we're constantly talking about how to develop and create explosive plays. We want those explosive plays, and we'll attempt to get those. Sometimes those come with, the distance that a ball's thrown or somebody breaking a tackle and making a play, how those plays happen. We can't always control that, but we want those explosive plays. Those plays make the drives better. They change things that the defense has to do. So we want to get those explosive plays. We've got to continue to work harder to get them done and accomplished and executed.
Travis?
Hey, good morning, Coach. I just wanted to ask you, the last 2 weeks, your third down percentage has nearly doubled from 35.4% the previous games to 64.3%. I was just curious to get your take on why you think that might be, why you guys are having so much more success on the money down.
Well, I hope it's an increased emphasis in it, which we're talking about all the time. Coach talks about that with the team, that's an important situational football parameter for us to address. So we constantly talk about that. He talks about it. He addresses it. We spend a lot of time on third down talking about what we want to execute, how we want to do things on third down. And I think then it becomes a credit to the players where they're studying it and buying in and they're executing them when we call those things. So I think it's a whole philosophy that starts with flow all the way down to everybody that, hey, we understand the importance of that third down situation and we have to be better to be able to stay on the field, to get more plays, to continue drives.
Omar?
I want to ask you a little bit about the RPO. I know that is sort of a major element of this offense, but when it comes to the run game, the fact that there's limitations on the offensive line, does that prevent them from kind of teeing off on guys and resetting the line of scrimmage?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. I think there's different plays and different things there's techniques and things that go into each individual concept, kind of run play that we put in and things that we're doing. And different plays have different techniques, have different things that we need to adjust within them. The RPOs are no different. And so what we try to do is we try to have a mix of things. So we're not living strictly in one world, and that the players do have the ability to come off and get the ball moving at certain times. And then other times they may not be able to do that, or it may be a different scheme that changes that a little bit. But we don't want to live in one world exclusively because we're trying to find things that maximize what we can do best on offense.